Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be re-photoshopping this space landscape that I kind of messed up on yesterday. As you can see for yesterday's draft, I didn't really see where the shadows were and I put the moon right behind the pyramids. So today I added a new layer with the pyramids cut out, and I went ahead and added another layer in between that and the old picture, and I added the sky. This time I flipped it upside down because why not? I'm just kidding, I like the colors better. So I flipped it upside down and then I went ahead and added a layer over that and added the moon. I'm using the eraser set to a spray paint setting to erase the background of the moon picture so that you can only see the moon, and then we're adding another layer and we're gonna add color to the sky. So I'm putting that under the moon and I'm just color matching the bottom of the sky and kind of breezing around there. And I'm going to use a very soft Gaussian blur to blend that with the other picture. And then I'm going to do kind of a similar thing for the floor. So you can see right now we're stepping over the universe and there's no, we can't do that. So we're going to add sand, and then we're going to make another layer over the sand, and I'm going to add purple because the moon is like nighttime and our sand and desert look like it's daytime. And we're adding a Gaussian blur again to smooth all that good stuff out, and we're going to add a little bit more darkness to the picture later on. For now, once we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and add another layer over the pyramids, and I'm going to use a clipping mask to limit it to the pyramids and switch to a luminescence brush. And I'm going to use a super bright aqua color to match the moon. And with this brush set to this beautiful light setting, I am going over the lines of the pyramid where all the pyramids have their little edges, and I'm making them really, really shiny. I missed a pyramid. Oh my goodness. I'm hoping that the second time I added a light, I went back to that pyramid, because if not, I have to go do that right now. But anyways, I added a very soft Gaussian blur to the little light on the pyramids. And then I'm going to add a little bit, there you go, I'm like blurring it. And then I'm going to add a little bit of white lights as well, but not as many as I did on the blue ones. So you can just see, wow, look at me going crazy there. I'm just adding a little bit of that to all the edges as well. And I'm going to blur those out just like I did with the blue ones, but a little bit less this time. So again, to blur them, I'm just going to use that Gaussian blur, and I'm dragging it a little bit, just kind of seeing how it looks until it gets blurry enough, but not too blurry. I'm also using the blender for any minor details that the Gaussian blur might overdo. So if I want one specific area a little bit blurrier, I'll just use the blender for that so I don't have all of the lights super blurry. Then I'm going to take my eraser and erase some of the edges of the pyramids that ended up behind the lights. So if the pyramid in front was shining too much light on the one in back, I'm just erasing that off a little bit with my eraser still set to a spray paint brush. Once I've done some of those details, I'm going to go ahead and color match the blue on the moon. And I'm going to go to the layer where I colored the sky and the sand as well, and I'm going to turn that light blue to match the moon. So literally the little spray paints that I made, I'm going to just turn those blue and blur out any parts that might seem a little bit too harsh on the painting or work of art. I don't know what to call this. The picture, I guess. Then on a layer somewhere similar to the moon, I'm going ahead and adding Mars, but it's not Mars in this universe. Or maybe it is. I don't know. I'm going to change the color a little bit though. I mean, I love Mars as it is, but I was trying to make a random planet. So you can see me kind of messing around with the colors. And then I'm going to go ahead and also take the eraser and erase the edges to just leave the planet there behind the pyramids. So when I was erasing the background for Mars, I went a little bit overboard and erased part of the planet. And I used the eraser at a smaller brush to kind of make the outline for the circle. So you can see there, I'm just going to do a little circle and then hold it so Procreate fixes it or smooths it out for me. And then I'm just going to erase anything that's outside of that line that I made so it looks like a more balanced circle. I don't want to call it perfect, but basically I just used the Procreate circle tool to kind of erase a perfect circle and then erase the outer parts. I went ahead and added a new layer over Mars with a clipping mask and switched over to a spray paint, and I am gently going to try to make the light reflect off of Mars, or I guess this now blue planet. So it was kind of a trial and error thing. I tried to give it the shadow and then the little light side, and it ended up looking like this. After that, I took the spray paint at a large size and a low opacity, and I kind of added a little bit of blue, and I went ahead and played with the Gaussian blur and the opacity of the layers throughout this whole thing to kind of get it looking bluer. Basically because the moonlight was blue, I was trying to turn everything blue. So I experimented with duplicating the lights over the pyramids, but I didn't really like how they looked when I made them too bright with the brush that I had used, which I find a better brush later. Well, not a better brush, but a brush that I like more. I ended up deleting the extra layer of light and adding a new layer with the inking gel pen. I think it was the gel pen. And I was trying to go over it. This was with the syrup brush. You can see the line is a little bit thicker on the top. I'm going to try to zoom in so you guys can see that better, but I didn't really like how it looked with the inking brush that much. I mean, it's pretty good, but it's not very detailed. So I ended up deleting that. I also tried using the technical pen with a lighter color to make the light detail, and it was a little better than the inking brush because the line doesn't vary as much on the thickness, so I don't have to worry too much about applying the exact same amount of pressure as I make the lighting on the pyramids. So in that moment I used the technical pen to make the light for the pyramids as well as Mars, and I went ahead and did it on a new layer for Mars. The first one I did was on the pyramid layer, and it was not a good idea because then I couldn't move it when I wanted to resize Mars. I also went ahead and added a little bit of color to Mars, playing around with the different layers that I had the planet on, because you could still see some of the stars on the planet, and I mean, I didn't want to make a transparent planet, so yeah, I added some color on that. I also tried to make random craters or like holes in the planet. Not like holes, but you know, the little markings that planets and moons tend to have. Like, I'm pretty sure they're called craters, but oh my goodness. Whenever I'm doing voiceovers, it's like I know some words, but it's like when you know how to spell a word, but then you see it in all lowercase or all capitals and you stare at it and you keep writing the same word until it doesn't make sense and you start doubting how you spelt it, even though originally you were 100% sure that's how you spell that word. I don't know if that makes sense. If you can relate, please tell me. Oh my goodness. So yes, I googled it. I am making impact craters on my fake Mars, and I am coloring and blending them, and I ended up selecting and copying and pasting the craters I liked the best. Once I did that, I went ahead and took a large spray paint brush and lowered the opacity a little bit, and I just set it to black or a dark blue, can't remember which one, and I used it to darken the very first layer, or I guess a new layer over all the other layers, just to make it look like it's later at night, because blue wasn't enough. Yeah, no, I was just trying to kind of give it some depth, so I'm just doing that and adding that Gaussian blur and playing around with the effect that it gives. And I felt like the picture didn't have enough light for some reason. I know it's full of stars and a moon, but I found this brush. It's a line of light, like the one around the moon, basically. Like, it literally, it's perfect. And I went over all the pyramids and Mars because, I mean, Mars is technically receiving light too, and I didn't want it to be left out. I also decided to resize Mars. I felt like it blended in a little bit with the pyramids, or maybe it was too big. I don't know. I played around with the shape a little bit. I merged all the Mars layers, and it was a funny looking half circle, but you know, it works. So I kind of checked where I wanted it to be, and I ended up leaving it in a similar position, but a little bit smaller than what it was before. I can't believe I still didn't notice the little pyramid in the front that I didn't add light to. I mean, here I am adding light to all these rocks and the little background so that everybody in the painting can have a little bit of light. I don't know why I keep calling it a painting. I'm just used to it. Anyways, here I am adding light to these rocks, and this poor little pyramid in the front is like, am I a joke to you? Poor guy. Little pyramid, I got you. I'm gonna add a light to you, and I am gonna make something unique. You're gonna have something different, or maybe just, you know, having light will be good enough for you. I don't know. Why am I talking to a pyramid, guys? Anyways, yeah, I added light to the rocks and the pyramid, and this is the final, what do you call it? Stage, level, like when somebody upgrades, the final form. My picture is at final form in 3, 2. Oh wait, before I show you guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure you let me know if you want me to try something, and if I think I can do a mediocre or better job, I will try. And if it fails and looks hilarious, I will also try and show you guys. Yeah, anyways, see you guys next time. Bye!